Howdy gang. So what I have for breakfast here, I got 3 mangoes, organic from Wegmans. They were 3 mangoes for $5, I think. These are the best mangoes I've ever had. I don't know what you would call them. They're just the red and green variation. I know that's horrible of me to say, but they have no strings and they're absolutely delicious every single time. And then I'm just gonna drink a quart of water before my breakfast here. But question of the day is, Tino, what is it like being in dietetic school studying nutrition as a vegan, as someone who wants to promote a plant-based diet? What is it like studying under the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics? It must be so frustrating, and it's like trying to be a carpenter, right? Trying to get into construction, and you're learning how to build a house, and what they're telling you is the way to maintain a home once it's built is to keep providing it walls, floors, and ceilings. That's kind of how nutrition is as well. You go in there and they're telling you to eat lots of protein, lots of meat and dairy essentially. Of course, they're going to say fruits and vegetables as well. No one can disagree with fruits and vegetables, but yeah, a lot of things I disagree with. And surprisingly, I'm not the only one. I've actually met a few students this semester who are into the plant-based methods. I've met vegans who not necessarily do the high-carb, low-fat, oil-free, low salt, whatever. But that's awesome. I've met vegans in nutrition class. I've met people who are into the plant-based message. I met people that are into, the less meat message and all that, which is great. We have students that are leaning towards the plant-based program and hopefully be able to spread the plant-based message, but just many people still clueless about forks over knives, the work of those doctors, Dr. John McDougall, Dr. T. Colin Campbell, Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, Dr. Dean Ornish, Dr. Neil Bernard. You have Dr. Michael Greger. Just so many of these doctors proving that the plant-based diet works, right? And this isn't just a small debate going on between, the standard nutrition professionals and the plant-based professionals. No, this is published in peer-reviewed journals. And there's just still the disagreement that you can't do well on a plant-based diet. And it just blows my mind, right? They say, okay, you can go vegan, you can go plant-based, you're gonna need supplements, you're gonna have to be very careful. I mean, does that mean if you're omnivore you can close your eyes and eat anything you want? What's the deal? You don't have to worry, you don't have to be careful if you're an omnivore? And I beg to differ, you have to be more careful if you're an omnivore. Look at the cultures that suffer from diseases such as heart disease, diabetes, osteoporosis, kidney failure, right? Obesity, which is huge right now in the States. Who suffers from that? The Western world. And Western is more of a subjective term now because so many different cultures around the world are adopting the Western diet, the high meat, high fat diet, right? So if you look at all those cultures that suffer from those diseases, what are they eating? Obviously, they're eating lots of meat and dairy. And the cultures that don't suffer from those have low prevalence of disease. They're eating plant-based foods. They're eating starch. They're eating fruits. They're eating vegetables. That's the way it is. So I believe, I'm a true believer that this plant-based message is the truth in terms of nutrition. I might sound a little bit arrogant, and at age 23, who knows? But I've seen people reverse cancer, heart disease, these diseases that apparently are death sentences for many people, or at least the general public thinks so. I've met people that have reversed it. I've never once met someone say, hey, I ate all the meat and bacon and cheese and dairy and everything, and I reversed my heart disease. How often do you hear that? You never do. You never do. So I think this is the truth. I do find it a bit frustrating having to learn that you need meat for strong muscles, You need milk for strong bones and all that. I'm just charging forward at this point. I mean, I talk to my professors. I always talk about it and bring the subject up. Hey, have you heard of Dr. Esselstyn's work? You know, have you heard about this guy's and you know all this stuff? I always bring it up, and it is a bit disappointing from most of my professors of what they have to say to it. But so far, the standard American diet has not reversed disease. In fact, it's feeding the pharmaceutical industry, and it's just taken us to the wrong side of the health spectrum. So if you're thinking of going into dietetics, studying nutrition, and becoming a health professional, I would say don't let it get to you. Don't take it so personally, right? It will just frustrate you and slow you down. Learn the basics. Actually, be happy you're learning the basics. Be happy you're learning what the standard recommendations are, so you don't have to give them. So you know what you're dealing with, so you know what to target, and you know what you have to address. You have to know the problem before you can solve it. So see studying the American diet as an opportunity to improve the health of the community. So that's the way I see it. I use it as motivation rather than frustration. And in the end, I'm going to promote what I think is right in my heart, right? It's going to be fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes. The foods that keep people healthy and have kept people healthy for generations and generations, right? These are the foods that have been eaten in tradition, and the cultures that have eaten lots of meat and dairy were the ones that are suffering from disease. So hopefully that gave you guys a bit of an insight of what it's like to be, I guess, an insider studying nutrition under the academy. And yeah, if you guys have any questions about that, post them down below. I'd be happy to share my experience and what I'm learning on this path. So post them down below. Give this video a like, and we'll see you guys next time.